You see drones everywhere now, don't you? They're not just toys anymore. They're becoming really fundamental in loads of industries.
Absolutely. From farming to construction sites, their capabilities are just exploding.
Right. And it makes you wonder, how does a company actually make a mark? Carve out a real niche in a field that's changing so fast.
Well, that's what we're digging into today.
Exactly. We've got the business plan for IT Drone and Software Services Ltd, based down in Bournemouth, England. And honestly, it's a fascinating look at how a company plans to succeed in this really dynamic sector.
Mm. And our mission here is really to pull out the most important bits from this plan. We want to get beyond just what they do.
Yeah, the how.
Precisely. How they're trying to weave together all these different services, hardware, software, specific applications, and handle some pretty complex markets, including sensitive ones to become a top provider in the south of England.
It sounds like a blueprint for a really modern tech outfit.
It definitely has that feel.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. What's the core business? What does IT Drone and Software Services actually do day to day?
What strikes me right away is this integrated service model. It's quite comprehensive. They're not just shifting boxes of drones.
Yeah.
They're positioning themselves as a genuine one-stop shop. So think hardware, yes, but also expert services, repairs, and crucially, their own software development, all under one roof.
That one-stop shop idea sounds convenient, but is it more than that strategically?
Oh, definitely. For clients, especially those using drones for complex jobs, it reduces headaches. No juggling multiple vendors for the drone, the servicing, the data analysis software.
Right, gets complicated fast.
Exactly. And when the data flow from the drone sensors to the final software output is seamless because it's all handled by one provider. That's a huge plus. It could really lock customers in, build loyalty, maybe even generate more recurring revenue beyond just the initial sale.
Makes sense. Okay, so on the sales side, the hardware, what are we looking at?
They really do cover the full range. You've got your easier to use recreational models, sure, but then high-end platforms for professional filmmaking.
Right, the cinematography stuff.
Yeah, and then specialized gear like agricultural sprayers or these really robust industrial drones, the ones kitted out with, say, thermal cameras or even LiDAR.
LiDAR, light detection and ranging, right, for
Nice.
super detailed 3D maps.
That's the one. Perfect for complex inspections or surveys. So a very broad hardware offering.
And it's not just sell and forget. You mentioned services.
Absolutely central to their model. Comprehensive service and repair. Think routine checks, diagnostics, firmware updates, the essentials.
Okay.
But they even help out with insurance claims, which can be a lifesaver for businesses.
I can imagine. And they do videography too.
Yes, professional aerial filming, so real estate showcases, promotional videos covering events, even inspecting infrastructure from the air. They're trying to cover that whole drone life cycle for a client.
Okay, so that's the foundation. Hardware, service, basic filming. But you said specialized applications. Where does it get, really industry specific?
This is where I think it gets really interesting, especially in agriculture and construction.
Okay, tell me about agriculture first.
So they're offering precision agriculture solutions, things like assessing crop health using NDVI mapping.
NDVI, Normalized Difference Vegetation Index, gauges plant health.
Exactly, by measuring how plants reflect light. Very clever. And also variable rate application mapping, VRA,
Meaning?
meaning farmers can use the drone data to apply fertilizer or pesticides only where needed and in the right amounts. Cuts waste, saves money, boosts yields.
Smart farming, basically.
Pretty much. Plus field surveying, checking on livestock, inspecting farm buildings, fences, that sort of thing.
Okay, and construction, similar level of detail.
Very similar. Site surveying, creating topographic maps, progress monitoring using 3D models, and orthomosaics.
Orthomosaics, those are the really accurate, geographically corrected aerial photos, right? Like a high-res map.
Spot on. Perfect for detailed site plans. Then there's infrastructure inspection, bridges, buildings, pipelines, checking structural integrity from the air.
Safer than sending people up sometimes, I guess.
Definitely. And measuring stockpile volumes like gravel or sand,
Yeah.
and even using drones for monitoring safety compliance on site.
Wow, okay. That's a lot of practical application.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
you see where the real lasting value is often generated.
The data.
Exactly. It's the insights you get from the drone flight. And this company seems heavily focused there, especially with their software development arm. They get that generic software doesn't always cut it.
Right. And their business plan really hammers this home. They're building bespoke software solutions. custom flight planning tools, systems for autonomous missions,
Uh-huh.
sophisticated data processing for all that imagery and sensor data they collect. They're even using AI for things like object detection and classification.
Which is cutting-edge stuff.
Totally. And this is key for businesses integrating their software with the client's existing systems, like GIS or CAD platforms.
Geographic information systems and computer-aided design, yeah. That integration capability is a massive selling point, a real competitive advantage, I'd say.
No doubt. Now, there's another piece to this puzzle mentioned in the plan, one that's quite different: military services.
Yes, that's a significant part of their ambition outlined in the plan.
What exactly are they proposing there?
According to the plan, IT Drone aims to offer specialized drone platforms and services geared towards military needs. Things like surveillance, reconnaissance, potentially target acquisition support, logistics, even training and developing custom drones for specific defense requirements.
That sounds complex and sensitive.
Extremely. Moving into the defense sector is, well, it's a whole different ballgame compared to commercial or recreational markets.
Huge regulatory hurdles, I imagine.
Absolutely massive. And the plan explicitly acknowledges this. It states, and I'm quoting roughly here, that any military work is subject to strict adherence to UK export control regulations, Ministry of Defense procurement guidelines, and relevant licensing.
So they know it's tough.
They have to.
Okay.
Compliance and security in this area are non-negotiable. It raises interesting strategic questions, too. Are they betting on R&D spillover between civilian and military tech? Or maybe aiming for those potentially larger, longer-term defense contracts?
It's a bold move. And just to reiterate for everyone listening, we're reporting on what's in their business plan here regarding military applications. These are obviously very sensitive topics, and we're just relaying the company's stated aims.
Precisely. Impartial reporting of the source material is key here.
Okay. So putting all these pieces together, the hardware, the services, the software, the industry specialisms, even the military ambitions, how does this position them in the wider market? Who are they actually selling to?
Well, their target market list is pretty broad, reflecting that diverse offering. You've got hobbyists at one end, then a huge chunk of commercial enterprises: agriculture, construction, real estate, media production, renewable energy sector, environmental monitoring agencies. It's a long list. Then, of course, the military services sector they're targeting. And the plan even mentions potential future expansion into emergency services. So, yeah, casting a very wide net.
And what's the UK drone market actually like right now? Is it growing?
Oh, it's definitely growing, significantly. The commercial side in particular is seeing really rapid adoption.
Why is that?
Several key trends driving it. Businesses are realizing drones can bring big efficiency gains and improve safety in many tasks. Technology is constantly improving: better batteries for longer flights, more sophisticated sensors, smarter software with AI and autonomous capabilities.
Makes sense.
And there's this increasing demand for integrated solutions, as we talked about. Clients want the whole package, not just bits and pieces. Plus, you've got the evolving regulations from the CAA, the Civil Aviation Authority. That's always shaping how companies operate.
Right. The rule book keeps changing. And who are they up against? What's the competition like?
It's quite varied. You have the big online retailers selling drones, specialist drone shops, companies that only do, say, aerial filming or surveying, general software firms, and then particularly for the military side, the large established defense contractors.
So how does IT Drone plan to stand out against all that? What are their stated advantages?
Their plan highlights a few key things. That integrated service model is number one. Their deep expertise in specific sectors like agriculture and construction, and their planned expertise for military apps.
The custom software capability, too.
Definitely. That's a big one. Plus, a commitment to using high-quality gear, their strategic location in Bournemouth giving access to the south of England market, and critically, that strong emphasis on playing by the rules, regulatory compliance, and safety protocols.
They're trying to be the reliable, expert, all-in-one solution, it seems.
That's certainly the picture the business plan paints.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. How do they actually plan to do all this? What about the operational side? The team managing the risks.
The plan outlines a dedicated facility in Bournemouth. It's designed with specific areas: a showroom for the drones, a workshop for repairs and servicing, separate spaces for the videography and data processing work.
Software development offices?
Yes, and importantly, secure storage. That's crucial, especially if they handle sensitive military-related equipment.
Makes sense. Any mention of processes?
Yeah, they talk about needing robust inventory management, using properly certified technicians for all the repair work, and adopting agile methods for their software development to stay flexible.
And the team structure to manage all these different parts.
Well, connecting this to the bigger picture, managing such a diverse business needs a clear structure. The plan mentions key roles: a managing director for overall strategy and leadership,
Standard enough.
a chief technical officer, obviously vital, overseeing the tech side, hardware, software, repairs, and then significantly, a dedicated military liaison officer.
Ah, specifically for that sector.
Exactly. That person's job is purely focused on building relationships with defense clients, navigating the procurement processes, and ensuring all the compliance and security requirements are met. That might even involve staff needing security clearances down the line. It really highlights how seriously they're taking the complexities of that market.
It shows a deliberate focus. What about the money side? Briefly.
They acknowledge significant startup costs, not just for the facility and inventory, but also for specialized legal advice and getting the necessary licenses, especially for any military activities.
Right, that won't be cheap.
Probably not. But they project revenue coming in from all those different streams: sales, services, software, industry solutions. And the plan aims for profitability within the second year of operation. Ambitious, but detailed.
And risks. Every business plan has to address risks. What do they identify?
They list the main ones you'd expect. Market competition, obviously. The incredibly fast pace of technological change in drones. What's cutting edge today might be standard tomorrow. The evolving regulations, we mentioned CAA rules, but also potentially stricter export controls if they pursue military contracts. Economic downturns affecting client spending, and security risks.
Security in what sense?
Multiple angles. Data security is huge. Protecting the information collected by the drones, physical security preventing theft of expensive equipment, and also the risk of the technology itself being misused, which is a particularly sharp concern when you're talking about advanced drones with potential military applications.
How do they plan to counter these risks?
The plan talks about mitigation strategies. Comprehensive insurance coverage is one, strict safety protocols for all flight operations, and crucially, addressing the ethical side of things.
Especially for the military tech.
Yes. The plan states they'll do this by strictly adhering to legal frameworks and ethical guidelines. For a company operating in this space, particularly bridging commercial and potentially military applications, managing these risks and ethical considerations responsibly isn't just good practice. It's fundamental to their license to operate.
It sounds like they've thought through the complexities, at least on paper.
The plan certainly covers a lot of ground, yes.
Okay, so to wrap this up, IT Drone and Software Services Ltd. It's a really ambitious play, isn't it? This highly integrated approach, blending the hardware, the specialized services, the custom software, to serve everyone from hobbyists to farmers to construction firms, and even potentially dipping into highly regulated sectors like defense. It's a really compelling blueprint for how to tackle the modern drone market.
It is. And it leaves us, and you listening, with perhaps a final thought to chew on.
Go on.
As companies like this push the technological boundaries, developing ever more capable drones and software, how do you think that constant tension, that balancing act between the commercial opportunities and the really stringent regulatory and ethical considerations, especially in sensitive areas, how will that shape the future, not just for drones, but for innovation in specialized tech services across the board?
That's a great question, something to definitely think about. How does that balance affect the pace of innovation, the types of services offered, the accessibility of the tech?
Good.
So consider that. Think about what a company like IT Drone, trying to integrate so much, means for your own industry or your own interests, because it feels like the drone story is really just getting started.